I just had such an incredible dream. Shout out to my spirit team. They were showing me a lot of things as to why I feel the way I feel. And sit tight because this video is going to include a lot of different themes and spiritual wisdom that especially women of certain ethnicities can definitely benefit from, especially because this was a out of left field dream, and it really took me through so many of these like maybe subconscious things that throughout my life, especially living in America, I have experienced. And what I want to say first and foremost is every negative thing that someone has tried to tell me didn't happen. Okay. So that goes to show that a lot of people will try to trick you out of what you know and who you are, and to never take no for an answer in regards to what you're working towards, your personal, professional goals in your own life. It's really important to know what your non-negotiables are, what your boundaries are. And I want to address something that I think a lot of ethnic people in America, especially those of immigrant parents, don't realize about the system is that they will say either really positive things or really negative things to get you in trouble. And one of those tricks is the student loan trap. Okay, this idea that, okay, especially if you don't have a full ride, and if you have a full ride, then these people have these psychotic mental breakdowns because they can't afford where they're going. And if they slip up, if one bad thing happens, or they get set up or something happens, they lose access, this so-called access. They lose whatever they think they're so-called trying to get. And it's so interesting to me how I've had these different conversations with other immigrant people, other immigrant based people, and how they're all saying like, I want to go back home, I want to retire back like home, because like America has definitely gotten worse socially. And I would have to agree. But I will say that it drives a lot of people, a lot of black people even, you know, to, it could be black American, black European, doesn't really matter, just black in general. Like, it pushes a lot of people to covet materialistic things. Certain lofty, quote unquote, lofty goals are not actually their own goals. They're trying to stick it to the white man, or stick it to America, or stick it to this, or stick it to that. And they lose themselves. And that's a trap that I've seen a lot happen. They overwork themselves. I'm sure people have seen all these videos of black women in particular who've died on the job or never came back home from work, which I just saw one opening up Twitter because she told somebody she didn't feel well. Of course, no one believed her. They thought she was being dramatic. An African-American woman, and she died. She's like in her late 30s, or at least early 40s. I think she's in, yeah, so either she's in her 30s or 40s. I know that for a fact. If it's 50s, well, it's even worse, but I think it's either 30s or 40s from what I saw. And she was showing a lot of like distress, but this whole like hustle culture, and gotta get it and keep going, and gotta prove this, and gotta reach this milestone by this age, and gotta do this by the. And America loves to brainwash, especially people of color. And this is something that maybe one day when I'm not living in America, I can talk extensively about, because I do feel like to some degree, as long as I live here, there's certain things I feel like comfortable saying and things I don't feel comfortable saying. But I will say that that's also another trap, is to convince black and brown people to get into debt, and especially if they don't come from money or they don't have the money, they try to convince them that this will make you better, this will make you look better. And a lot of people have disproved that. A lot of people have disproved that you do not need to spend 200 grand a year to land a job. Okay, and it doesn't make you a better person. You're a person regardless if you have a degree or not. And that's another layer of spirituality and classism and socialism and even conservatism that I don't think that this country is built upon or nor ready for. I don't think that most people can have that kind of conversation and not fidget and not feel uncomfortable. So I just think that what I've noticed is a sad thing is a lot of the so-called ambition is just to try to prove something, not to themselves, not to have a good time, not for self-fulfillment. It's for validation. It's to try to look better than somebody else. And it's all stacked upon the ego, whether the ego of the perpetrator who said those nasty things about you, or it could even be your own family. Maybe your own family's brainwashed about something. And so every little thing is about, well, this kid's doing this and this person's doing that and this. And I've noticed that a lot in this country. And I will dare say now, this is why people are seeing an alarming rate of not just men, but young people taking their life, dying, overdoses. I can say actually even myself, due to people having like at home issues or whatever else, or going to the wrong parties. Some of the men that I grew up with in high school that, you know, were in my classes and neighborhoods and all that stuff, like, and this is like a gated community. This is like, you know, suburbia, passed away very young before we even graduated, in fact. And that always stuck with me because there is so much societal peer pressure across the board, but I would say like there's other kind of like economic and socialist peer pressures that I would say black women, people of color, sometimes they see it and a lot of times they don't. So their success is built upon hatred. Sometimes their success is built upon, I need to prove this to this person of this other color or this institution, or, and let me tell you, and this is why I think I forgot what topic it was about, but this is why I think it was the Latinos for Trump thing. This is what a lot of even Asian people and black people obviously were saying, is like, you're never gonna be one of them. You could try to do a lot of things, but they're gonna try to get you one way or another. And that's exactly why, like, even with Diddy, like, sadly, this is a really, really extreme comparison, but it's a good one. Like, even in Diddy's situation, like, Diddy, you know, hasn't done anything different than a lot of powerful white men in Hollywood have done. And yet his story is being blown up the most. And I take note of that because, to me, I do think that to some degree it is racially and gender motivated. And not that he's innocent, it's just interesting how like certain celebrities will get a get out of jail card, literally, you know, get bail, get this, get that, and they've done worse. They've hit their wife, they've hit their pregnant girlfriends, they've cheated, they've done disgusting things, and no one's checking for them. But then the second that a black man is suing, you know, two rich companies, I think it was like I think it was Ciroc and Sony, and he was trying to buy NBC. I heard a lot of different things. He was trying to buy this, try to buy that. The second he tries to elevate himself, now they have all this scandal. And, you know, and so America will do that. America will bring you high, just very, very high, just to drag you very, very low. And that's not a conversation I think most people in America are ready for. So, with 4th of July coming up, I don't see there's anything to celebrate. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, we literally are aiding wars and funding wars. And this country has a lot of problems, a lot of things that they need to fix. But those who want to celebrate, I have no problem with that. I may look at fireworks, but I'm not going to like actively get myself in a crowd, because crowds during this time are not safe. But anyway, that's just my little, that's not even little, that's just my like a topic that I really want to go deeper on. I may do a part 2. Okay, so definitely heart repost, someone else could see this video. It's important, and please follow me if you want to. Okay, feel free to. All right, thank you for